so much for coming to our podcast, Montessori. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thanks, Karine. It's lovely to collaborate with you. My name's Richard. Richard Michael is my surname, which always causes a little bit of confusion having two first names. And, well, I'm Australian and I'm now living here in Spain.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this. This is really amazing. Now, what inspired you to start school in your village? So I'm assuming it goes hand in hand with this story in particular. So it looks like it's very much a follow-up to this experience. If you could
Indeed,
share a
it
little
is.
bit more, yeah, that would be lovely.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
it is. And it unfolds in very dramatic terms. I continued working at that school and thanks to my experience grew in confidence and with my passion as well. This is something that was this driving thing that I wasn't going to let go of Montessori or my love of teaching. And so I had great success with children and parents alike. I can't place so much importance on the collaboration with parents, you know, so that they also can contribute in such a positive way to their child's growth. Well, after many years of working, along came COVID. And different things happened in the school. Different people came and went, but I was what you could call a solid pillar of the school, and people looked up to me and lined up and said, "We want our child to go into Richard's class." Sometimes this caused problems because, as many people will know, you have to be very careful or diplomatic in schools as to not cause problems amongst fellow teachers, but it happens anyway. Jealousy can arise and different things happen. But as I said, I was very successful. The school that I said, which had been started by this woman, was then sold to a very big international company. So I then became part or employed by a great big business. Something which was quite family before, a very family atmosphere. And so people came, people went. There was a lot of, there was opposition to Montessori at this point. They thought they were going to make this school the same as others, but we dug our heels in and were true Montessorians and kept to it, until they realised that there was something very special about the school. The Montessori really only worked in the early years of the school, sort of like up to 6, 7 years. And so then I began to be asked to lecture the other departments in the school as to what Montessori was, because many of the other teachers in the school didn't know. The parents also joined in this demand for, we don't want Montessori to leave this school. So this was also a beginning of something that was new for me too, to begin to share my experience and years of experience with, well, for example, other teachers and then different educational institutions. I can't say that I'm an expert at all in Montessori. My years of experience help me to express what I have learned, and through my collaboration with, well, many children. I just want to share something now. When I first started in Montessori, I had a lovely class of children, and many years later, Madrid was a time then that wasn't so big as it was. You'd meet children children, grown-ups, they'd come up to me and say, "You're Richard, aren't you?" And I'd say, "Yes." And you'd be looking at someone who was as tall as me, say, "You taught me when I was 7 years old," or Now, so this also began to happen because parents brought their children back to the school who I had taught. And so all of a sudden, at the initial days of starting a new school year, there'd be a father standing in front of me. She said, "Do you remember me? You know?" And I said, "Well, I'm sorry, no, I don't." And he said, "You taught me when I was 7, and I want my daughter to be in your class." Well, this happened so many times, and so it's very interesting. But this thing of sorry, where are we, Corinne? We're talking about, what's the question? I've lost track.
No, that's when. No, I think you answered it. It was the how you started your school in Spain, but I think
Well,
it is.
okay, well, no. Well, then to quickly go on to that, well, this new company then, COVID came and I was fired. I lost my job.
Ah.
And so I came down to this village, which I've had a great connection with in Andalusia. So I left Madrid. I didn't have a job. And so I was very challenged, and I went, oh, what am I going to do? Here I am. And I sort of thought, very small village. What can I do? And I said, I know, I'm going to ask the mayor of the village if he can give me a space so I can start. Now, to use the word school is perhaps not quite, oh, what's happened? Yes, it's not quite correct. I haven't started a school. It's an environment that I have, which follows very much the Montessori way, where children come after school and have classes with me. So it's basically to enrich their English learning, but because it's Montessori, they learn so much more. We do mathematics, we do practical life, we do sensorial. And the mayor, who gave me this wonderful space where we are now, also has been very generous and bought a lot of Montessori material for me to continue with this. And all the Montessorians out there know how expensive it is, but they were very generous. And now I'm in my 4th year of working with this thing, and have up to, on different groups and different ages, the mixed ages. It's really one of the great benefits that I've begun working with the vertical grouping. And so that was something that I didn't do in the other school. And so, but I've been continuing my work and connection with Madrid, because I've been invited to another wonderful Montessori school in Madrid to do replacement work of people who have gone away to do courses. So I continue growing. And so it was an opportunity in the end. I wasn't defeated, if you know what I mean. I lost my job, but I like a phoenix, I arose again. And have this connection with so many of the youth now. I mean, some of them I taught, and they say, you have to graduate now because I'm only teaching up to 6 or 7 years old. And, and some of them say, no, we don't want to go. We don't want to go. And so I've started older classes for them, and sort of like, or sometimes one-on-one, depending on their desires. Thanks, Corinne.
Oh, this is really amazing, because the passion, when we have that passion as an educator, we just don't want it to go. Even if we, in our older age, it's like we don't want to stop. And so we that connection with the child is just so incredible, and wanting to really pass on that passion for life in general. It's as an educator, this is very, very, very special. It's a unique work in that way. Okay, now let's look at the next question. So I'm both a practitioner and lecturer in Montessori education. What drives you to continue in the field of Montessori education?
Very, very nice question. And again, we come back to the word passion and the desire to keep on learning myself. I think it's so important that the teachers don't just stop. And when I lecture these young students, they seem so young to me when I go back. I've been invited to collaborate, and I couldn't myself use the word lecture for myself, and I say that to the students. I'm very humble about sort of like my capacity to, but it's sort of like sharing experiences like we're doing now in this talk. So they're very interested in this, and it's 3 hours. It was very challenging when I first started, but I've collaborated for more than 7 years now with this particular university and a couple of others as well. But the one in particular which I've done more work with is that these young children, well, children, adults they are really, yes, but they seem like children to me, although they're so naive and in what they've taken on. And you sometimes feel challenged to say, well, why have you chosen this? Like you say to me, like I said, Maria Montessori found me. And I transmit this to them, the importance of bringing what they have in their own lives to their careers. Also, it's just not, okay, you do your 3 or 4 years training and then that's it. Okay, you go into school and you have a job. I try to use the word, it's not a job, because I discovered it becomes a mission. You are standing there doing one of the most important things that you can give to society, forging young children for the future, as Maria Montessori says. And this thing of sort of saying, well, I can sense that sometimes that, oh, well, I don't really know what I'm going to do, but, oh, maybe I'll try teaching. But I know that from the feedback that I've had, because the person, the director of the course, has often sent me feedback from listening to the lecture, and they've come to the school. So sometimes I have gone to the university, but I find it much more rewarding when they can come into the classroom and see how the teacher sets up what we call the prepared environment, and how the children learn to work on their own and become the master of their own future. So it's that sort of thing again, to sort of say, you grow, you bring all of your experience to help the children. Like when I said before that I grew up with Aboriginal people, they taught me so much about nature and how to survive and care for nature, and many other things like my flamenco dancing, etc., and my passion for reading, and I worked as an actor as well in Australia. So all of these things, and my love for music that my family taught me, you must bring to the children to share this thing of culture, because I think the most important thing, I think, in the Montessori classroom, okay, they learn to concentrate, they learn from practical life and sensorial, how to concentrate and choose their own work, move freely, and respect others, respect the environment. But it then leads, I think, into the other paths of world culture and respect for others and the dignity of life.
Wow, this is really amazing. Thank you so much for sharing these wonderful words, because we, as an educator, we face so many challenges on a daily basis, and literally minute by minute, second by minute, second sometimes. And so it's always sometimes it can be difficult to keep that that passion if that flame in your heart.
Thanks so much, Karine.
And